もう死んでいる。何？
Hey, John Rowe.
The topic of a
We do a
podcast
podcast.
together
We should do a
and honestly, I'm
podcast.
excited.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
Hey, John. Hey, John Rowe.
The topic of a podcast together and honestly, I'm excited.
G'day, dorks, and welcome into Lords of Dorktown, a podcast all about anime, cartoons, and video games. I'm your host, Philip, and the dork joining me, it is the awaited, that's not a word, it is the long-awaited return of the cartoon, it's the long-awaited return of the cartoon cunt himself, Tayo. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good. Yeah, I put that on my resume. It didn't help me get any jobs.
The cartoon cunt? Yeah,
Yeah.
nah. Nah. Put it on your Tinder, though, that'll help.
Nah, there's no way I'm letting any Dubes find out I'm doing this.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Oh man, it is fantastic to have you back. I've been waiting to do this episode for so long. Another debate episode like we did back in like episode 28, I think it was, like ages ago. We did the Yu-Gi-Oh debate.
Yeah, which I hands down beat the shit out of you with.
No way. Go back and listen to the recording. There's fucking no way. Fuck off. And here, coming back to get another absolute smackdown, you've decided to step into the ring again, but this time we're debating Young Justice, a series very close to both of our hearts.
Yeah, it's up there with Avatar: The Last Airbender for me in like rewatch time, where I've watched season 1 and season 2, each episode easy like 20 times. Like there was just the same as Avatar was for a little while. Young Justice was my nighttime show. So
Yeah,
I'd
for
just
sure.
watch like 3 episodes and pass out. And
Yeah.
yeah, amazing, great show.
It's truly is fantastic, and because we were doing this episode, I did like a small rewatch. I didn't rewatch all of it because
I did.
fucking
I rewatched season 2 as well.
I've got so much, like, I'm watching so much of the next couple of episodes, I'll go into all the shows that I'm watching at the moment because I'm watching a fuck ton. It's been good. There's heaps of good content coming out lately.
It's also awesome to finally get this done because how many times have we rescheduled this? Like 5 times now.
This is like the 5th time we've rescheduled this. It's fucking, this is the episode that was like, it's almost the cursed episode. It's
for
fucking,
sure.
it's been,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely. Oh, it turns out I'm in hospital now. Sorry.
I think I literally.
I hit you or did it first?
Yeah, I did it first. It was like we were supposed to record, and then I ended up in hospital for like 3 days. And then the 3 days after, where we scheduled like 2 records, I just kept being like, just kept taking painkillers and being like, yeah, I can't talk.
Yeah, what?
Like just dribbling.
I want to find the exact message I sent to you. Where is it?
Anyway, I'll feel.
Yeah, you.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about Young Justice season 1 and season 2. We're going to be comparing which season is the better season. We'll go into the arguments later. But for me, man, I remember Young Justice really fondly because it was one of the shows that started airing on a channel we had here in Australia called Go, which was like a fun new channel, like in, I want to say the
88 Go.
Yeah, 88 Go.
It's 99 now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't watched free-to-air TV in so long.
Yeah. Well, I watch it when I'm with my parents and I just crack the shit.
But yeah, Go was like, it came out in the mid 2000s. It was
I'd
a
say
spin-off of
it
Channel
wasn't
9.
The mid 2000s. It was like the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
It was like, I'm saying it was around 2005.
No way.
Yeah, 'cause
it's closer to 2008 than anything.
Oh, I don't know. We're Googling ferociously here, listeners. But yeah, Go was this like, it was a spin-off channel from one of the main kind of free-to-air channels we get here in Australia called 9. A spin-off called Go, and it had like a weird assortment of afternoon cartoons. It kind of tried to capitalize on the hole in the market, I suppose, of good afternoon cartoon programs. And it did really well. This was how I got my first introduction to Young Justice, Batman Brave and the Bold. It had a lot of DC cartoons, actually.
It also introduced me to Ben 10.
Yeah, Ben 10. There was an awful show on there that I watched religiously called Monsuno, which is kind of like Bakugan,
like
but Beyblades.
Budget Bakugan,
Like, yeah.
budget Beyblades. Yeah.
We're both just Googling so
I
hard.
know, I can't.
Start in Australia.
Man, I I'm certain I was.
It says 1956 here, but I know that's wrong.
It was digital TV. It's when you're like, oh, buy your set-top box, everyone. We're going to run out of analog channels.
Okay. So digital TV started in 2001. January 1st, 2001.
No one had that.
No, I did not have that.
How the fuck can we not find this?
This is
easy?
insane. I'm on the Wikipedia page for Timeline.
2 hours later.
Prime 8 launched in June 8. In 2005, March 7, ABC 2 launches with an episode of Landline.
2 hours later.
Yep. Okay. 9th of August, 2009. Go launches.
See?
Yes, you were closer. 9th of August, 2009. Anyway.
I would say I was more right.
You were more right. If we're doing the Wheel of Fortune, not Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right rules, you win. Yeah. So yes, Go launches, and it launched with an afternoon, as I said, an afternoon lineup of kids cartoon and Young Justice on there. And that's where I first got my introduction of Young Justice. And ever since then, it was one of those shows that was really easily available to legally get. Like everyone had torrents of it.
Yeah. That was back in the good old days of the golden era of internet piracy.
Oh, the golden era of going to school with hard drives and just exchanging hard drives.
USBs
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just remember I'd be like, I would go to the post office and I'd buy a blank hard drive, and within 48 hours it would be full.
A blank hard drive that was a total of 8 gig if you were lucky.
Oh, mate.
I spent $30 on this 8 gig USB.
Someone gave me a USB the other day at work to just transfer some files, and I hadn't touched a USB in ages, and it was the tiniest USB, and I looked down.
Squares.
I looked down and it said 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind, because the last time I held a USB, it was the size of my
10
finger,
times the size,
and it was 2.4 gigs. It's just
yeah, that was the same I wigged out the other day, and it's just a tiny little box that just the USB connection port is bigger than the actual storage space.
I felt old.
Back in my day, we used to have VHS tapes.
We're not even 30 and we talk like we're fucking 80. This is embarrassing. But we should get onto the debate of Young Justice. So I am arguing that season 2 is far superior than season 1, and you have decided to take arguably the hardest stance to take in any kind of pop culture.
I definitely agree that season 1 is arguably the harder debate to put forward.
I'm interested.
Unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, which was clear season 1 is far superior.
Bullshit.
Dual school.
GX is so much better than OG. But we're not talking about this again.
Yeah.
We are here to debate, so let's get into it. Yeah. Debating has existed since the dawn of human thought. From ancient Greece to modern-day political races, debate has been used to settle arguments and give the gift of creative thinking to the masses. Some of the greatest debates are described as battles of wit and intelligence, more thrilling than brutish men swinging sharpened steel towards one another. Today is no different. Two titans who are neither qualified nor experienced in debate square off to argue one of the most hotly contested issues plaguing society as a whole. Is season 1 of Young Justice better than season 2?
It's time to
debate. Oh, yeah. It's time to debate.
You little budget didn't even bother re-recording the
no.
sample. You just live chucked it in there.
Live drop. We're live dropping, mate. We're out here in the streets. Okay. I went first last time, so you're going first this time. So hit me. Season 1, Young Justice. Is it better than season 2?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, also yes.
Okay. Let's do this.
Okay, let's start with the beginning. Not the beginning
great
of Young
place to
Justice.
start.
Not the beginning of Young Justice, because that's season 1, you know, the better one. Let's start with the beginning of both episodes. Recently, I watched them side by side.
Okay.
I started watching the first episode of season 1, then the first episode of season 2, so on and so forth, until I got towards the end. And you know what I realized? Season 2 is shorter.
Episode time?
No, episodes, numbers.
Yeah.
There's less episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Okay. Oh, you're just going just like quantity wise.
Yeah, quantity. There we go. One
Okay.
factor. Quantity wise, not as good.
Okay.
Yeah. The first episode, well, just the intro in general. You start out with this, you get this big, long, cool intro music and stuff like that. You get some little flashes as it's like, you get to see little previews of what's going on in the episode. Great. I'm a big fan of opening sequences. Amazing, noticeable ones being like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Gravity Falls. There's some really good ones. Young Justice is up there with like such a good intro. You know what they do in season 2? They fucking rip that away. You just get this tiny little which is the invasion word coming up. So just there, we're already missing quantity wise so much potential. We get introduced to Superboy very early on. You know, we get the first episode. We got this good 2-part opener with finding out Superboy, getting a good introduction and stuff like that. There's this interesting part of him not being able to fly, which is original Superman couldn't fly. He could leap tall buildings in a single bound. And how they put that in there, I think it's Wall-E that's like, oh, at least you can leap tall buildings in a single bound. So there's like just a little nod to the fans there, which I think is generally a lot more fun. When we're comparing early season 1, they're learning to build as a team. They're learning their maneuvers. Superboy's still like learning that even though he's strong, he still has to learn tactics. They're doing all of that. Whereas you start season 2, they're a well-oiled machine. There's the fun of seeing these dynamics interact and build relationships is sort of missing because we have this big time skip where all of that's established. We go into like in the first episode of season 2, they're fighting Clayface, which is, you know, a callback to they fought Clayface in season 8 in episode 8 in season 1. So it's just this little callback. But again, there are different reiterations of Clayface. So I just think there's nice little notes to that. But again, it's like it was lacking originality. Like they were literally training a sequence that has already happened. And then we get fucking Dick and Tim, you know, so Dick's now Nightwing in season 2, but then we have Tim as Robin, who has like a shitter backstory, is less charismatic, has shitter costume. Like fucking Tim's costume is so shit compared to Dick's. Dick is obviously the superior Robin. Better than
I don't know if the microphones just picked up, and my eyes just nearly fucking bugged out of my skull.
Oh, I love for you to try and tell me why you think Tim Drake
is the
better
superior.
than Jason. I mean, better than fucking
Tim Drake
Flying
is
Dragon.
Tim Drake is not the superior Robin, but he is better than Dick Grayson Robin.
He's literally the 3rd best Robin. I think he's even the 4th. I think it would have to go like Dick, then Jason, because he's cool as fuck, then Damian, then Tim.
I like Damian. I really like Damian Wayne Robin. I always have. I think Damian Wayne Robin, especially in a lot of the, like in the DC animated movie universe, Damian Wayne Robin is fantastic. He's so great in those movies.
Because he's so different to the rest
He's
of
so
Robins.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
dark and
yeah.
he's got a sword, and then you get like Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin,
Yeah.
and then Robin with a cape and a sword.
Yeah, and Damian Robin is like he's still trying to fulfill the Robin mantle in such an interesting way, and it leads to a Batman Robin relationship that's more, I'd say, more engaging than the rest of them, because a lot of the Robins are very subservient to Bruce Wayne, which, I mean, a lot of the Bat family is subservient to Bruce Wayne. I mean, in more recent series of Young Justice, they even go into that a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool when you get like Orphan.
But yeah, I would say just
How
quick
is
order.
Tim better than Dick?
Order of Robins. Just like I love Nightwing. I love Nightwing, but I think Dick Grayson is a bad Robin. I just think he's a bad Robin. He was never meant to be Robin. He was always meant to be his own thing. But I digress.
Never meant to be Robin. He literally was meant to be Robin.
No,
he
but
was
like,
that's like being like, oh, Bruce Wayne never meant to be Batman.
No, but like it's like Dick Grayson was never meant to be a sidekick. I never
No,
wanted.
he had to become fully fledged Nightwing and become his own. But but this is the origin.
Okay.
Like it's literally so it's like, oh, we got budget Robin. We got the less good Robin in this series. We also got, fucking Beast Boy running around collecting souvenirs, which was Wally's thing. Like literally there are so many callbacks in this second season.
Yeah.
Because season 1 is better. And they're like, oh, instead of, trying to do something good, we'll just call back to the amazing series. So I definitely think if you look at the beginnings and the ends, they're much stronger in season 1 compared to season 2. The fucking 4-part ending. You don't have a 4-part ending. You have a 2-part ending, and you're missing the last 2 episodes of that season. There's a 4-part ending, from Agendas when the Justice League are sitting there and they're debating who on the team should join the Justice League, when the whole Red Arrow thing finally coming to fruition all the way at the end of season 1 is amazing setups. Like towards the end, this 4-part ending where you have you find out about Superboy getting the shields, and you find out Artemis's origin, you find out Miss Martian, and there's so much that comes to a beautiful crescendo right at the end of this season. It's much stronger than just seeing Wally die. Amazing ending. That's the thing. I love season 2 and it's great. But the
End of debate there, guys. Good work. Season 2 is great. Let's wrap it up.
Definitely, but it is inferior to season 1. That ending is great. You get to see Wally die. It's heart-wrenching. It's amazing. It's got fucking nothing on the 4 episodes of fucking Savage coming in and setting up the missing fucking 12 hours or 13 hours that the Justice League goes away for. I think it's
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so much built up, and even this starts laying seeds for season 2.
Yeah. I mean, you've brought up a lot of good points there. I think I'm going to take the stand for a bit in a little bit of defensive here. So when it comes to season 1 and season 2 of Young Justice, they're both very unique beasts. In fact, I'd like to go back to the first episodes as you did, because the first episode of season 1 of Young Justice is, in my opinion, the strongest pilot ever made for a cartoon series.
Thank you.
I think it is. I really do think it is. I think the way you see the separate sidekicks fighting along with their mentors, fighting all these ice villains, it's a good way to introduce. It's a fantastic way to introduce us to the world of DC, and it immediately
and their dynamics, their personality
exactly.
traits, the speedsters coming late, even though they're the speedsters.
Yeah, Aqualad's the way Aqualad kind of
on task.
Yeah, and his relationship with his king and his mentor. We get to see the cheekiness of young Dick Grayson, who kind of loses a lot of his not life, but his kind of
his innocence. He becomes Nightwing. He stops being fun. Oh, let's throw some fucking ball bearings at someone. Robin to let's beat the fuck out of them with short sticks.
Yeah, yeah, and there is a lot, and that first episode it also introduces you to what this world is going to be, because the DC universe is. Although it's very similar to the Marvel universe, the DC animated universe it's a lot more full on. There's no hand holding. It's very This is a world where superheroes have existed, and the rest of the world is just kind of tags along in this superhero universe. It's very much superheroes are very prevalent in society, and we come into a world where the Justice League is already set up. Everything's pretty much into motion as well. The Earth is very aware that it is Oh, no, Earth isn't super aware of aliens. Like, the existence of aliens isn't super...
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is more of a season 2 thing.
They're kind of towing the line in season 1. But yeah, we get introduced. And so that first episode, it does a lot of the heavy lifting, and it's engaging, it's fun. I still love that first episode. I think that first episode's fantastic.
Yeah, amazing. Definitely better than the first episode of season 2. Well,
No.
Yeah, but you said it's the best pilot of a cartoon ever. So
Yes.
how can that be not better?
Okay, it is probably better than the first episode, but I would say season 2 on a whole is better, and that is
your hole.
that is because season 1 is the scaffolding in which a masterpiece is built, and that is season 2. Season 2 of Young Justice is in itself a masterpiece of storytelling. It successfully manages to tell a variety of different stories. We have a plethora of characters who are going through emotional turmoil, physical trauma, like relationship breakdowns, building new relationships, discovering who they are, being face to face with the idea of morality, good versus evil.
Definitely like Avatar: The Last Airbender in the way that it presents some like heavy
Oh,
topics
yeah.
in really palatable, digestible format where like you're like,
Super digestible. And everything that it presents to its audience is the audience doesn't have to sit with it for very long. You never sat, like, with the exception of Wally's death, you never really sat in any of these characters' despair or their misery or even their happiness, because there's so many storylines, there's so many plots, there's so much happening that's pushing this story forward that you're constantly kind of moving on. And that in itself is what this series is. It's a lot of characters moving on from trauma and growing.
Yeah.
And I think the main strength of season 2 is its characters. Season 1 is a very tight-knit cast, and that tight-knit cast is fantastic. I mean, like, Superboy, fantastic. We haven't even spoken about Miss Martian, one of the greatest characters committed to an animated series
absolutely
ever.
fucking amazing.
Miss Martian is fantastic. The complexity of Miss Martian in season 1 and season 2 is amazing. In season 1, her trying to find her identity as to who she is and not having to pretend.
And yeah, struggling with like racial identities and
huge issues. And then in season 2, struggling with the morality of is what she is doing is right, is if the power she is given, and if it's that greater good, is do her actions
means outweigh the ends.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
ends
it's
outweigh the means. Sorry.
and Miss Martian is dealing with that the whole series. And also her relationship with Connor, Superboy, is fucking like heartbreaking in season 2. Like, it's like, not only did Miss Martian do some awful things, but it's also awful to watch two people that you're pretty convinced should be together because they make a great couple.
Yeah, I ship them so hard.
Yeah, I fucking love them so much. To see their relationship break down in season 2 is truly heartbreaking. But I mean, I think everything that season 2 does that is in like a copy or a homage to season 1 is better, and it that trickles down to the slightest of things. Like season 1, there's this plot point throughout. It's not even a plot point, but there's this running joke throughout the whole thing of things being whelmed.
But yeah, that's one of my things. The whelmed and the aster, like instead of disaster.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh.
And it's something that I annoyingly put into my lexicon for like a year and a half.
It's so good. And exactly, they fucking, the whelmed, the fucking souvenir, all of this cool little quirky thing is literally just recycled.
Yeah, but it's recycled and made into something better, because I would say Mode and the Crash and all that stuff that Kid Flash brings in from the future is much... It adds so much more depth to conversation.
Cringe.
I love
It's
it.
cringe.
Crash the
vocabulary,
Mode. Are you kidding me? No,
Crash.
it's
so
I love it so
cringe.
much. And getting back to the characters, the Wally West coming from the future, the Kid Flash coming from the future, fantastic.
Impulse, yeah.
Impulse. I loved him.
Not
and
Wally West.
No, it's not Wally West. It's
His
Garfield.
no, Garfield Logan is Beast Boy.
Oh, okay. Who's
Impulse is fuck. I can't believe I don't like Speedsters very much, but he's the real Flash's grandson.
Yeah.
So Wally is like a cousin.
He's a cousin, yeah.
Yeah, but Impulse is a direct lineage. Fuck, what is his name?
I can't remember.
He fully says it too.
Yeah, he says it all the time.
Like-
He has zero secret identity.
Yeah.
But anyway, him coming from the future and how that changes everything, and how his secret mission that he's on adds so much depth to the story, and again, it's making the speedsters in the DC universe more interesting. Like their whole storyline is more interesting because we get
Bart
Allen, thank fuck.
Barry Allen.
Stop typing your fucking emails. But yeah, like
idiots, you did say we were underqualified.
yeah, we're fucking super underqualified.
There was a disclaimer.
But like, because we in between the 5-year gap between season 1 and season 2, Artemis and Wally retire, and bringing a new speedster on the team is fun and interesting. And Impulse as a as a hero is a great hero because he always knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah,
and they team him up with, I'm gonna say, the MVP of season 2, Jaime Reyes. Fucking Blue Beetle
Jaime's fucking awesome.
slaps across.
It's so funny when I looked it up and I was like, oh, Jaime, because it's Jamie.
Yeah.
And it's like the Latin way of saying it.
We're
from Australia. Anyone internationally, we don't have Latin speakers here.
No, I've always referred to every Jamie I've met from like watching this. I've always called Jaime. I worked with a dude called Jamie. And it's fucking
factually incorrect.
Oh, it made him so angry.
That's factually incorrect. You have not referred to my Jamie.
I've never referred to Jamie as Jaime. I should do that now.
When he teases us for playing D&D.
Yeah. Oh, Jaime.
So, you touched on Aqualad earlier.
Yes, let's talk about Aqualad.
Awesome his introduction is. How he's like, this whole teeing up of him being the most pragmatic leader at that point in time because he's older, he's very focused. Like the whole introduction where
he's mature.
Yeah, where like Dick's just like, oh, come on, Batman, hurry up. Like today's the day, let's get it over with. And Flash is like, and like Kid Flash, the same, like real, like boom, 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 like hurry up. And yeah, there's the slightly different dynamics with Wally and Dick having similar sort of like, oh, come on, let's hurry up and get this over and done with. But their mentors being on total different ends.
Yeah.
And seeing the interaction with the Arrows is, probably the most whelming out of all of them. But
yeah, I think all the Arrow storylines pretty whelming.
But Aqualad, seeing him like with his king and all of that, and it's such a great introduction to essentially like a new character. Like Aqualad is not very big in DC universe in general, and this was like a black Aqualad and had this his Black Manta's son and this whole cool origin that he had. Like they introduced Aqualad amazingly. Let's jump to season 2. Let's see them introduce another Atlantean.
Do we have to talk about Lagoon Boy?
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon Boy's trash, man.
He sucks so much.
It's literally the epitome of the 2 seasons where it's like, oh, look what we did in season 1. This is amazing. Here's Aqualad. It's great. Oh, let's do the same thing again in season 2, but not as good.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring up Lagoon Boy. I fucking...
Yeah, man.
He sucks. And it's really unfortunate because bringing in all these new and young heroes into the team has its its pros and its cons, and I'd say one of the biggest cons there is Lagoon Boy because he's
Lagoon Boy. Lagoon is his name.
Yeah, sorry, I'll call him Lagoon Boy.
Logan.
Logan.
Sorry if your name's Logan.
Yeah,
fuck.
It's a rough name. Anyway, yeah, Lagoon Boy. He's just a pile of shit, and like his character makes bad choices. He's rude, he's abrasive.
Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities
and
at all.
Like even his powers, like when he hulks up and gets real big, he just looks dumb.
Yeah.
Like I don't like his
Got
design.
the little microcephaly. He's like a little shrunken head.
I don't like his design.
But that's like these are the comparing the 2 seasons.
Yeah, but you can't. Lagoon Boy is not the Aqualad comparison in season 2.
Who is it then? Who is it?
Just because they're Atlanteans, I would say.
Yes, I'm doing oranges and oranges here.
I would say that if you were to make a more accurate comparison as to who Aqualad's role is in the season 2, I'm not padding. A more accurate comparison for Aqualad in season 2, I would probably put at. That's got to be the 3rd time I've said that sentence.
See, there's no one.
Fuck.
There's
Circle
no
back
one.
to me.
Yeah.
Circle back.
We get, like, again, in the beginning, we get introduced, boom, who's our first big boss fight? Fucking Blockbuster. Like, an amazing villain of Superman. Like, and you get to see the way that the team fights them, seeing Dick work out, oh, let's take out these support, and they're working smarter and not harder. Like, that's the first cool thing you see. That's, like, the first real fight. Like, it's just... it's really well done. And the whole Superboy and Miss Martian, like you said, it becomes tragic in season 2, which definitely has its place in like cinematography is tragedy. But man, it's just so wholesome in season 1. Like they're just like this amazing, beautiful couple. They're both like outsiders, even in this. They're both like
don't say that word.
off where. Yeah, we won't talk about.
We're not talking about outsiders. I'm not ready to be that angry.
But they're both like have off-world genetics, whether it be full or half. And then the whole when they go to Bialia, I think it's in episode 9, and Miss Martian helps Superboy put his brain back together. In that, you see through the flashes, you see McGann's actual form, her actual white Martian form. And like Connor found out about that. Connor knew what she looked like since episode 9 and totally kept it like okay all the way until I think it's like all the way up until episode 22 or something that the reveal happens and Connor's like, oh, I always knew. Like it's just so wholesome and beautiful there. The fucking Cold-Hearted episode, oh my God, fucking amazing seeing like you getting the full depth of Wally in that Cold-Hearted episode. Like it's really, really good. I couldn't find anything to compare to that Cold-Hearted episode in the other seasons. There might be that one where Jaime is trying to find his friend, the Native American guy who can.
That's real. That's a fucking amazing episode.
I think that's the only one that I could put close to it in like this singular character development.
Yeah, Cold-Hearted, you kind of have to like. I would say it's almost in a separate category because that episode is not only is it telling like a pretty one-shot storyline,
yeah,
but it sets up so many things. Like even like season 3, it sets up things in season 3 which we'll talk about later. But
yeah, when we get over the depression.
Yeah, that's a really good episode. But like season 2 has some fucking amazing episodes when you get to it.
It definitely does. But I'm sure I could find a comparison.
I would say
one.
Season 2, its best strength. Oh, also Aqualad's the Aqualad of season 2. I would say it's either Bumblebee maybe. Oh my God. Maybe. She's pretty good. I like Bumblebee.
You just like frantically after trying to stall 3 times. You're just like on your phone. Anyone listening, he spent the whole time I just said my last point not paying any fucking attention.
I was listening.
No, you weren't. He was just scrolling, being like, "Shit."
There's got to be someone. There's got to be someone.
There's no parallels. That's the thing. I can always draw a parallel from season 1 to season 2, but I can never but I can't always draw a comparison from season 2 to season 1.
But there are those comparisons to be made. You're right, and as I said, like the season 1 is the scaffolding in which a beautiful artwork is built upon, which
this was your main point in the
that's all I wrote. That's all I wrote down. Yeah. But season 2, okay, I would say that yes, season 1 is undeniably amazing. Better. Season 2 though, because we get to introduce to all these great characters and we don't have to put the footwork in of all these amazing characters that we've already got. We don't need to, like, the 5-year gap, we don't need to explain. The show writers don't need to explain that Dick Grayson is more mature. He's grown up into his role of a leader and he is now...
given, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to go through all that kind of messy bits of characters growing up. And we get to see a whole new slew of young heroes who have, interesting powers, interesting backstories, interesting relationships between who they are, who their mentor is, and who they want to be. Also,
yeah, I definitely think Blue Beetle.
I fucking love Blue Beetle.
He shines and he holds that whole.
But even
season up.
But even like other characters, like Zatanna is fantastic. All the Dr. Fate and Zatanna stuff in season 2 is amazing, and like. What about Bumblebee? She's not an amazing character, but her storyline with the
Guardian.
Muggle is Mao is fantastic, and season 1 has the benefits of stuff like Mount Justice. You'll never be able to recreate the emotional feeling of Mount Justice as a place in season 1, because Mount Justice in season 1 is it's their home. It's where they grow. It's where they become a family. It's where they become a team.
Yeah.
And in season 2, you can't replace that. Like they
just blew it up.
They just blew it up, and like, yeah, you can't replace that. But again, there's things in season 2.
I guess that's the other redeeming part of season 2 is the Miss Martian Aqualad like saga. That is fucking
so
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Like, and like, they don't keep us on the edge of our seat for long with the Tigress Artemis reveal. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's in episode, it's only like 18 or like 14 minutes where it hasn't been confirmed that Artemis is dead.
Yeah.
But the Miss Martian not knowing and also fucking up Aqualad because of it, like the
like
the
wrecking his
consequences
brain.
that action
And
has.
then the repercussions on Dick and on like for his decisions, and it's definitely awesome.
It's fantastic. And also, like, the Aqualad reveal, even though you're not kept on the line long enough, you do believe it. It is a believable betrayal because there's enough trauma there
And
for it to happen, you know?
There's the big time skip, there's family times. You also see like the little nods they give to the fans of like Toola's death, and like Tim was there as well too. Like
Yeah.
so when I first watched it, I was like, oh, is that meant to be like Dick's Robin being retired? And I was like, oh no, it's actually Tim. Like,
Not Tim, Jason.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Todd.
Which is interesting because I always thought they'd bring in a Red Hood. I really did.
I know, I was waiting for it.
I thought we'd get it in season 3. I know we're not talking about season. I thought we would get it at season 3 because
then it let you
even
down,
it
like
being
it
the
didn't.
Outsiders, I was like, yeah, Jason, like a Red Hood would fit into a team called the Outsiders. That
Yeah.
that makes sense. He's quite literally an outsider.
Yeah, more of a vigilante anti-hero.
Yeah,
type
yeah.
deal.
But he never came, which is weird because they've brought in heroes
See,
that I
another spot
never
where
thought they
season
would.
2 just could have been better with an introduction. Look, we had 2 extra episodes you could have chucked into fucking.
I don't think a Red Hood could have fit in season 2. There's
No,
so much
definitely.
happening in season 2. Like season 2, for all its good points, I think misses out because there's so many characters introduced. There's a few characters that I wish got more time, and I think are gonna get more time in an upcoming season, especially Rocket.
Yeah, I
I
can't wait.
loved Rocket, and we get her so briefly. She is so briefly in season 2.
I know. I wish they'd swapped Halo with Rocket in season 3.
Man, we just keep coming back to season 3. Man.
We'll have to do a whole episode where we just shit all over season 3.
But like Rocket's not the only character that doesn't get enough. Wonder Girl, I feel like could have got a whole lot more.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and we barely get enough of Batgirl in that season. Spoiler alert for season 3, she becomes Oracle. She gets shot and loses the ability to move her legs. Like we miss out on that, so much development of that. Like we do get Alpha Team one time when they're all girls, when you got like Wonder Girl, Batgirl,
Miss Martian, Batgirl.
and who else is there? Maybe
There's another one.
Yeah,
Who's the other one?
that's when.
Bumblebee.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's when they go to Queen Bee. They go to Bialia.
Man, that's a good arc. The Bialia stuff's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many good arcs. But like, okay, we haven't really spoken about the invasion part of season 2 yet, because that's what I want to talk about. The villains, okay, the Reach.
Yeah.
That come to Earth, and the capturing of the metahumans, the teaming up with Lex Luthor, the Reach drink, all of it.
Yeah,
is-
the Reach versus Light type, like the Vandal Savage being in there. It's awesome. It's fucking
really
cool.
good, complex storytelling.
Yeah.
And the Reach get to like those especially the 2 alien forerunners, the
Black Beetle and Green Beetle.
the chancellors or whatever they are. Those 2, they
scientists.
they get such an interesting role in season 2, where the first half they're menacing, terrifying villains, and then later in the season they become bumbling idiots.
Yeah,
like they
so
do get to make that transition. That's cool, buddy. Thanks, Casper. But yeah, they get a just writing down the time so I can edit that out. They get in the second half of the season they become these kind of like bumbling kind of idiots almost, especially when it comes to Black Beetle.
Yeah, they're definitely pushed down.
But I love it. I love that rise and fall of the villain. I think it's a great arc, and it's something because the villains in season 1 are so menacing. Like they're so terrifying in season 1. Like Randall Savage, like all of
Vandal.
it. Vandal. Did I say
Randall's.
Randall?
That's his British
Randall.
cousin, a little bit more horny.
Yeah.
Do I met you, Randall?
Randall, baby. Are you Randall, baby? That's fucking heinous.
Another episode that's just as amazing, I think, is Cold Hearted, that doesn't really have a parallel. Failsafe.
Is that the
That's
red?
Miss Martian. That's Miss Martian putting everyone in the 100% loss program.
Yes.
Like where they're doing that
Oh my
psychic training.
God, that
and
is
Artemis dies.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raw,
Yeah.
emotional, beautiful. And then how that sets up the next episode and then the previous after, like how things from that flow on.
Yeah.
From that, and you see Connor goes off with the New Gods, the Forever People and stuff, rather than doing the interview, and how you see Black Canaries start like chipping away a bit at these facades. Amazing. And then a good introduction to like even Martian Manhunter says like she's the most powerful in terms of raw power. Miss Martian's the most powerful telepath he'd ever met. Like, so she's untrained at that point in time, but so raw, powerful. And that is just, that one had me going a lot more than the Black Manta Aqualad type deal, where I was certain, like, you were sure that shit was happening. There was no reason for you to believe that was not what was actually happening. But then they show you back and like, oh, and that's why you reacted like this in this way. And then so well written that.
Yeah. I would say maybe like a storyline that is comparable is the character we haven't really touched, the Roy Harper.
Yeah, he's got cool arcs. But
His kind of fall from grace in between season 1 and season 2, and the kind of wild goose chase that he goes on to find the original.
Oh, the original.
The original
Well, yeah, but that's
Roy.
season 1 where he's looking for the mole. Again, beautifully set up. And it's like,
Broken
plot
Arrow,
twist,
fucking
boom,
good.
you were the mole the whole time, you dickhead.
Yeah,
Like,
it's real good. But
yeah.
like him trying to find the real Roy and, you know, feeling like an imposter and starting a family with Cheshire, all that stuff. Like that whole arc throughout season 2 is it definitely doesn't take main pitch like the mainstay in an episode, and it definitely feels kind of like a B plot category, but
I
it
think
carries
it's
a lot
strong.
of heart,
Yeah,
like
definitely
so much heart, and especially when the original Roy comes back and he becomes Arsenal.
Talking about basically totally irredeemable characters. Let's talk
Yeah.
about another fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Lagan, he's such a dick, I hate him. And then you get introduced to Arsenal. And
Fuck,
you're
he's a
like,
dick.
oh, that's way worse.
Put him back in the fucking chamber, hey. Take his other arm. What a
But
cunt.
again,
A fucking piece of shit.
yeah. He's got good arc, and when they're trying to release like Mongol from the big Reach ship, when they're like letting out the prisoners and that sort of stuff, him being like, I'm not getting captured, I'm not putting in a pod, like this real drive. And then the relationships between all of the Harpers.
Man, I don't want to bring up season 3 again.
I know.
But like when you see that there's
episode.
there's an episode in season 3 pretty early on in the season, just before it crushes all your hopes and dreams. There's an episode where like there's 3 Roy Harpers.
No, well, it's like the original Guardian, who's his like, cousin.
Yeah.
And then there's Clone Roy
And
Roy Arsenal, and then Tim's there as well,
it's
too.
fucking-
And it's like a great episode.
It's actually very funny and very good.
and it doesn't belong in that season.
No,
Garbage.
fuck, I hate that season.
Yeah.
But yeah, a completely irredeemable character.
Yeah, basically.
He fucking
and the
sucks.
same as fucking Lagan. So like, where is that in season 1? Oh wait,
Exactly.
there's not.
But the thing that about irredeemable characters is it gives you someone on screen to hate. Everyone in season 1 is so great. There's so many good. It's too many
You can't
diamonds,
even
not
hate,
enough
like,
rough.
You can't hate Luther or Savage. or
Luther's
anything like that.
fantastic in
Yeah.
it, and like. I don't know how much G. Jordan Jeffrey is in season 1, but he's not. Yeah, I didn't think
he's
so.
Introduced in again, another one who's like basically irredeemable,
But fantastic.
Yeah,
I
again,
love.
he's the only character you need to put in there to direct everyone's hate to. See, there's plenty enough. They didn't have to put in like 5 extra people to hate.
No,
You
but
got
they
G.
do
Gordon
because they
Godfrey.
put in 10 extra ones to love. Like, there's so many good new characters in there. Like, even characters that were in season 1 become so much more in depth. Like, they're not even like Sphere,
Yeah.
Wolf. All these characters. Like, how good is Wolf in season 2?
Yeah.
Like an actual member of Young Justice.
Well, he did help out quite a bit in the Agendas episode 22 where Superboy goes back to Cadmus and fights Match.
yeah.
Wolf helps out
Wolf,
quite a bit
yeah,
there.
Wolf rocks.
And then that's the reveal of the shields and that Lex is the other half of Superboy. And it's
Yeah.
great. And then that just leads into like insecurity, performance, like
Fantastic line in season 4 about the Lex Luthor Superboy heritage by Beast Boy. That is like, it's 2 seasons in the making, but it is like the perfect one-liner for Beast Boy to have. Speaking of which, Beast Boy season 2, what a character.
yeah.
It fills the role of that energetic, youthful character that the team always needs. The role that Dick filled in the first season and Wally filled.
Yeah, the hole that Dick
Yeah.
just crammed himself into.
That snug hole that
Filled
Dick
it.
was just right into. Beast Boy slid in
Moist.
nicely. I've lost it.
The dynamic with Beast Boy and Impulse is also really
Fantastic character.
because again they're both like these high energy like,
ADD riddled fucking
yeah.
absolute nightmares.
Again, let's just shit on season 3 again for a little bit. Why the fuck did they change his voice to the voice actor who did
Why the fuck did they make him an annoying celebrity that is like so...
pure trash?
He's fucking awful. And
So see, look, it's a hard debate to determine if 1 or 2 is better. Easy debate to determine
season 3 is the worst. I've only seen like 5 episodes of season 4. Automatically better than all of season 3.
Yeah, fucking oath. Yeah.
Season 3 is...
I think there's only 13 or 4 out now. It's got to the half.
Yeah,
season.
yeah, half season break, which is good because I want to catch up and be ready to go for the start of the second half of the fourth season.
Already watched it. That's when I said I've watched every episode at least 20 times. It must be some ridiculous number more than that because I've already watched every episode of season 4 times at least.
Yeah, wow.
Because I just, when something new comes out, I'll watch it that day, I'll watch it the next day, and then I'll watch it the day next week that it comes
of course.
out, at least.
Yeah, of course. I don't think I'll definitely go back and rewatch season 1 and season 2 a few more times. Like I've held off showing it to my kids, to my eldest, because I want him to be at the right age where he enjoys it from the start. Like, because
Yeah.
it is heavy, but I think it's such a great series, and I think in particular my oldest will get a fucking big kick out of it because it is all the superheroes stuff that is so prevalent in like modern day society. I mean, since the Marvel movies come out, like superheroes are just fucking everywhere.
Mainstream, yeah. But
But
it's one like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's like if you kids watch this from a young age, they're gonna grow up to be like well-adjusted
Yeah.
members of society who understand like complex things like trauma and gender
Morality,
identity. And,
yeah, Jesus
morality and-
Christ.
yeah, these huge topics that are just so well done.
And season 2 does like it tackles those issues again, but because it's diversified its main characters and its main cast so much, we get to see perspectives and point of views that we would not have seen in season 1 because we get to see like just going off like ethnicity alone, like we get the first Hispanic member of the team, we get
The first Native American.
Yeah,
we get
and-
a Japanese.
oh fuck yes we do, like it's
Yeah.
so good.
See my sen?
Oh man, I love that episode so fucking much. But like, I love Young Justice so much. I love season 1 and season 2 of Young Justice. And I
Yeah.
think the thing I'm going to come out of this debate feeling is just, it's amazing that they pulled off 2 amazing series of this show.
Yeah, this was definitely a whole different monster to me than the Yu-Gi-Oh debate because in my mind, like it was already won. It was easy for me to determine that. Whereas like I didn't have a strong opinion that season 1 was better than season 2. Like
Neither do I.
It's
In
like
all
essentially
honesty.
the same thing because so much of setup in season 1 comes to fruition in season 2, and like
Yeah, and even going back to how it aired on TV, like we were talking
just
about
off
this
the pod,
off the
yeah.
pod, but yeah, when Young Justice was first airing in the States, season 1 and season 2 weren't divided. Episode 22 of season 1 aired one week, and then the next week it just went straight into season 2.
not 22, mate. It's season 1 and it's got a good amount of episodes.
Oh no, season 1's 26, yeah. And then so episode 26 aired of season 1, and then the next week it went straight into episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
And the viewers were just left with a 5-year gap straight away, and they didn't know. And that's because these aren't 2 separate seasons.
Yeah.
It is very much
It's one story.
it's one story told over 2 seasons.
And that's what's amazing which sucked that season 3 did suck a bit.
a beard.
but-
a beard.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But it was amazing because the guy who made it, like the creators were like, oh, this was originally meant to be binged. And they were so stoked when it finally got to Netflix. And a whole bunch of people were first introduced to it coming on Netflix and then just smashed the shit out of it. And they're like, okay, cool, we'll do our next 2 seasons
Yeah.
now.
I mean-
and then that's the same thing. You could watch from episode 1, season 1, all the way up to episode 13, season 4, and it'd be coherent. Like it's a coherent storyline, just the same as Avatar: Last Airbender.
And
Sure, there's time gaps or there's differences, but it is a coherent story.
And it all, like, we still follow our main cast, no matter how many, other characters get introduced and how many plot lines these other characters take up. The main cast is always still there. The
Dick's
main
still there.
Dick,
McGann's still there.
Artemis.
Connor, Artemis. There's a core that it revolves around.
and it's even referenced throughout the show constantly by those main characters that they started this team in spite of the Justice League. They wanted a team to belong to. They wanted to create something of their own, and they just happened to create something that was inclusive, representative of the Justice League, but also
There's
better.
better representation in the team than in the league.
yeah, and also it I feel like the Justice League, and you see this a lot in the later seasons, the Justice League fails to do what it was set out to do. In so much as in so that we see, a spoiler alert for the later couple of seasons, we see a lot of the key members of the Justice League leave the Justice League. Like Batman steps down from the Justice League, and although it's not a official step down, you could almost look at it. The Young Justice
The Bat
team,
Family and Black Lightning things are part of what says season 3 for making it
Black Lightning
total
does a
garbage.
hell of a lot of lifting when it comes to season 3.
and the Bat Family saga.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
and their interaction with each other.
But like the young Justice League, the covert team itself is a better representative of what the Justice League was originally supposed to do.
Yeah.
Save people, help,
Give them hope.
Yeah, give
a
hope to the
beacon.
world. A
Yeah.
beacon of hope. And that's what the Young Justice team is, because they are themselves still hopeful. And that's what is great, that every season introduces new characters to be hopeful, because if season 1 Dick Grayson is very hopeful, season 4 Dick Grayson can't be, because he's gone through what those 3 seasons were. So
Because I think it's 10 years from the beginning to
5 years, 1 year. Yeah, it is.
10
Yeah,
years.
10,
yeah. Because I was just watching season 3 and up through there's a whole Zatanna saga and her talking about how she's now 27, not 17, or 25, not 15, or something like that, which was what she was in the episode where the world splits, the kids and the adults. Great episode, fucking
so good.
So good that it shows Captain Marvel shining so much throughout that whole thing. And again, the episode where they're like putting league members, they're like, oh, does this person join? They're like, oh, let's talk about Billy. And it's like, oh, because
So
it
good.
turns out he's 10. And then like, no, Wonder Woman's like, no, I knew. And Batman's like, I knew.
so good.
Yeah, epic. But even that, like, Wonder Woman's like, oh, and Athena knows we can use some more females on the team. Because there's like Black Canary, Wonder Woman, Hawkwoman, And
Rocket gets on the team really early.
Yeah, but like that because they were talking about Rocket
Yeah.
there. So there was like 3 or 4 females on the whole Justice League. Like the team is literally a much better representation of diversity in race and gender and identity and stuff like that.
Not to mention all the female on the Young Justice team, the covert team, fucking kick ass.
Oh man, when you see them take on Lobo when they're like beta team or whatever in that episode, and like
Batgirl
Cassie,
fucking
Yeah.
she's so good in that
Batgirl
scene.
just like come on, let's fucking go. Like
I love Batgirl in season 2. Like honestly,
and Wonder Girl is fucking awesome, and the same thing. She's got this sort of like innocence, like she's a bit.
She's a
too,
fangirl.
like-
She's a
yeah,
fangirl,
she's a
and it's
fangirl, and she's a bit too
perfect.
like rambunctious, like, and she's like, oh shit, like I'm getting.
so much nervous energy.
Yeah, it's like a really fucking cool character. That, like I said, it's so hard for me to like. I did it because I like to debate, and
debating's
I'm a
fun,
bit of
yeah.
a wordsmith. I can try and put together arguments, but like this didn't have the same validity as it did with Yu-Gi-Oh. Although I love season 1 of this more than I loved Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't hate season 2.
I
where
think it's
hated
impossible.
GX.
It's impossible. Like I think, especially if you're a fan of superheroes, but I think if you're a fan of just good storytelling, because even if you are someone who is burnt out on superheroes,
Yeah, or never known about the DC. You're not introduced to it and stuff. You don't have to be.
no, and because the storytelling stands up so alone, like, and the writing as well, like some of these characters are so well written that there's definitely points where you never question their decisions because all the decisions that every character makes feels so right to that
For them.
character.
Yeah, exactly. You're not like, why are you doing that? Like, even when like Legan's being a dick, or when fucking Roy's being a dick, or something like that. You're not like, oh,
It's earned. Everything's
why are you doing
earned,
that?
yeah.
Like, yeah, I get why you would be feeling that way. It's so real and raw, and just amazingly done. Like it's up there in my top handful, like with Adventure Time and regular show.
I would say,
in
yeah.
The fact that it's like, Adventure Time and The Last Airbender, sorry, where it's like beautiful, entertaining, family friendly from high to low, but also like so topical and deep, and that's the thing with good writing. Like it's easy to write a tragic story, or it's easy to write an emotional story. It's a lot harder to write a good emotional story.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot harder to write a story that is heart-wrenching that you still want to watch, which they managed to do really well from like start to finish. And
like-
just yeah, sorry, you go.
Oh, it's just like and like we talk about how good the writing is and how good the characterizations are and how interesting it all is, and it backs all that up with still some of the most amazing animated action scenes that you get to see in cartoons.
And
like
that's so crazy that we haven't even really talked
No.
much about the whole fighting side of it, or just the general like animation of it, because that's just fucking amazing too. But it just comes as a footnote to the writing,
Because
which is somehow the standout.
yeah, in any other show. We spend in any other review, we spend a great deal of time talking about like the aesthetic of a show, how good something looks.
Yeah,
and
the
we haven't
drawing and that. Yeah,
we haven't really mentioned that because it's you don't notice it, even though it's so great, because everything else around it is so great as well.
Yeah,
but like
exactly, like
Aqualad is a perfect example. His action set pieces that he gets. There is one scene in particular where he's fighting someone in a hotel room.
Cheshire
Yeah, and it's
jellyfish toxin.
It's
I'm largely immune.
fucking like that whole scene is amazing.
Oh,
the way
how
he uses
draws-
his magic.
draws that water up, because the way that's cut is really well done
Yeah.
too, because there's the Eurasian, like the North Eurasia and South Eurasian people arguing, fucking what's his face, Luther's there trying to sort it out, and then Cheshire comes in, sets off this big explosion, and all you see is like it just her setting off this bomb, cut, big explosion, boom, cuts to where a commercial ad break would have been.
Yeah.
And then, if you're not watching it on TV because you're not a fucking idiot, it just cuts to Aqualad reaching out with these little fucking handle things, pulling all of the water to make this amazing shield. And it's just like tough as fuck, man.
Man, yeah, and all the action set pieces stand out as just like there's
when they're
no
fighting-
bad points in it, which is
That
it's wild.
the Dr. Fate, when they're fighting that the split world with like where the kids and the adults. It's fucking amazing. And Aqualad taking the lightning on, and like, that's crazy that I didn't even think, like, I'm such a fucking animation nerd too.
Yeah.
And the way that like their smoke sims are done really well. Like when when fucking Kid Flash will come and kick something up, and you'll see
The
like,
speedsters always look so great,
Like
and speedsters look trash in so much shit.
it's so easy to just like slap some motion blur on something and call it a day. But it's beautifully animated. It's fucking amazing.
It truly is amazing.
Yeah, and it starts strong too, because that's the thing. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animation is a lot jankier in the first season. Like the lines aren't as crisp. The powers of most of the characters are lower too, so the fight scenes are less epic and stuff.
It's in 4:3 too, like it's 4:3 ratio.
Yeah.
So it's physically a smaller screen where
and there's also like fucking 100 drawings per episode or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculously minimal sometimes.
Yeah.
But you look at Young Justice and it's like 12 frames per second.
and the transitions and the it's such a fucking not shit thing, but it's such a nerdy thing to, I suppose, talk about. But the font in the transitions is like my favorite font ever. I fucking love it. And the way they do the transitions, the subtle writing at the bottom, so you always know what location you're in. But the way it doesn't hold your hand when it does it. It's not like, and I would say exposition wise, it feels very light on a lot of exposition.
Oh, definitely. Like just a little brief, it comes up, Mount Justice, 600 hours Eastern Standard Time. That's it. Or Happy Harbor, the 12th of December. Yeah. It's awesome. It's really well done. The sound design is fucking amazing.
It's so good.
The theme is fucking beautiful. And then the theme in season 2 where they add in that little sound for when Invasion pops up.
I remember the first time I watched that and I saw Invasion come up in the bottom, I was like, I was so hyped. I'm like, fuck yeah. It's crazy because Young Justice took a huge break between season 2 and 3. And I
think it literally has actually been 10 years from season 1 to season 4 now.
And I was I didn't think it was coming back. I was pretty convinced.
I was 100% certain too. And I'm like, it sucks because the fucking, like, the War World, Savage has the War World. There's this whole thing between, like, the Apocalypse and their anti-life equation.
We still didn't know what the light was,
and stuff like
you know?
that. There's this, like, there's this huge fucking missing piece of it. And I'm like, because I remember when I saw the end of it, and every night when I'd fucking rewatch that last episode, I was like, it's so hype. I can't wait until we get to see where the fuck Savage is, where the fuck the War World's doing, like all of that shit.
Yeah, just there was so many threads left untied.
Yeah.
And when I heard season 3 came out, I was really excited. I never got around to watching it until recently.
Yeah.
Just because it was weirdly hard to get in Australia. Like, it just wasn't streaming on anything. And I was, at that point, I just wasn't downloading illegally. Nor I'm not doing that now either. Feds.
I definitely don't still have Young Justice.
So I think I've got it on like 4 hard drives.
I have season 3 and what's out of 4 now too.
Oh, man. But like coming into season 3, and we really need to start wrapping up just to get out of this studio because it is fucking hot.
I've lost like...
There's so much sweat on me. It's so gross. We should start wrapping up. We are going to do an episode on season 3 and season 4. We'll probably just talk about them together.
I think so.
Just because there's not much I want to talk about season 3, just because it's a pile of fucking garbage.
We just spent half an hour shitting on
It's so bad. But as for a like debate wrap up, I would say the conclusion is both season 1 and 2 are fantastic.
Are amazing, and watch them both.
Watch them both. And I don't think we should ever refer to it as season 1 and season 2. I think it's like just part 1 of Young Justice.
Yeah, part 1 of Young Justice.
And we're now into part 2.
Because it's literally broken into 4 parts too, because they're like double long seasons that have gaps in the middle of them. So it's like season 1, 1.2.
Yeah.
Season 1.3 and 1.4.
I know. We'll wrap it up there. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was really fun. It was, a good format to be able to to get our shit out.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you're on the Instagram at lordsofdorktown @gmail.com is the email if you want to get in touch with us, and the Instagram is just at lordsofdorktown.
There's also a Reddit, not very active.
No, we're not very active. Instagram seems to be where we do most of our engagement, and just email if you want to catch up and chat if you've got any questions for us. Also check out
suggestions on episodes.
Yeah. Well, who's your favorite Young Justice character? I'd like to get a thread going. Also, check out What's Your Obsession, another podcast that I do with good friend Callum.
He's my brother.
Yep, episodes coming out all the time. You're actually going to be on an episode of What's Your Obsession coming up soon. That'll be sick. Yeah, do you want to sign us off there, Tayo?
Stay dorky, everyone.
You. Let's crash the mode, brother.
Stay well.